Good evening. My name is Wazanai Sansole and you're watching Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime. These are your headlines tonight. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has challenged Zimbabwe rugby flagship side, the Sables, to use their presence at the Rugby Africa Cup in Uganda to promote brand Zimbabwe. The president also pledged 100,000 United States dollars to the team. Zimbabwe's healthcare sector, which is undergoing massive transformation, today received a significant boost following a donation of medical supplies and equipment worth over $500,000 United States dollars. Tonight, we shall also look at the latest efforts by authorities to curb the proliferation of substandard and counterfeit medicines. And in our look at sports news, Zimbabwe Cricket has announced a 16-man squad for the upcoming T20I Triangular Series involving South Africa and New Zealand, with all-rounder Sikandar Raza set to captain the side. A closer look at our top stories this evening. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has challenged Zimbabwe rugby flagship side, the Sables, to use their presence at the Rugby Africa Cup in Uganda to promote brand Zimbabwe. Addressing a Zimbabwe rugby delegation at State House this evening, ahead of their clash against Kenya on Sunday, the president incentivized the Sables' quest with a $100,000 token. The Sables are taking part in the 2025 Rugby Africa Cup, with this year's edition serving as an automatic qualification for the 2027 World Cup finals. Now, the winners of the Africa Cup will automatically book a place at the global showcase to be held in Australia.
As a sports diplomat, to promote our country's image, our tourism, and investment prospects under our engagement and re-engagement policy. Be assured that our nation is behind you. Government will continue to support you, and I, your President, am confident in your dedication and your sporting abilities. I congratulate you in advance. As you embark on your journey to qualify for the World Cup, may your excursions yield great success for our country. Go out there and make Zimbabwe proud. We wish you all the best luck. Go Zimbabwe, go Team Zimbabwe. I have prepared monetary token to assist you in your preparations. I will hand over $100,000 to you.
Now, with Zimbabwe being the defending champions of the Rugby Africa Cup, President Mnangagwa said he is happy with the growth of the sport in the country.
My government is impressed with the growth and the development of rugby, not only in Zimbabwe but on the continent as a whole. The African Rugby Cup Championships will see 8 African rugby powerhouses competing for top honors. It is a platform that provides an opportunity to ascertain Zimbabwe's performance on a continental scale. I want to congratulate you, the Sables, for the victory against Morocco earlier this week. I'm very happy for that you beat Morocco. This achievement is pivotal as we continue our journey to reposition and refocus our sporting delivery systems, which is a critical part towards an excelling sporting nation, which Zimbabwe is becoming.
And Zimbabwe Rugby Union Chief Executive Officer Sfiso Made described the incentive from President Mnangagwa as key in their quest for qualification.
And we are so grateful to His Excellency and the government for supporting us. This will go a long way in ensuring that not only the Sables were kitted, that obviously those that are there know that they are playing for something, knowing that they can feed their families, and of course put something in their pockets. It's a great incentive for them, but we are so grateful for this opportunity.
Now, in other news, Zimbabwe has received hospital equipment worth over 600,000 United States dollars from the United Arab Emirates, aiding efforts to achieve universal health coverage by 2030. This also aligns with the Sustainable Development Goals, which aim to ensure all citizens have access to quality, affordable healthcare services without financial hardship. Our correspondent Selina Nyamangara has more details.
Zimbabwe and the United Arab Emirates attach great importance to economic diplomacy, which is already propelling increased trade. The growing relationship today saw the UAE handing over to Zimbabwe a consignment of medical supplies worth an estimated 600,000 United States dollars. The consignment comprises 34 tons of essential medical supplies, which include 74 intensive care unit ventilators, hypodermic 23G needles, and syringes, among others. Speaking at the handover ceremony in Harare today, Health and Child Care Deputy Minister Suleiman Kwidini said the donation is a vital step towards improving healthcare services in rural and underserved areas.
These are not just figures on paper. These are life-saving tools. They represent our ability to respond more effectively to emergencies, reducing mortality and provide quality care to the people of Zimbabwe, especially in our rural and underserved communities.
The donation comes at a time when the country's healthcare system is undergoing a major upgrade under the Presidential Hospital Refurbishment Program. The program aims to propel public referral centers into world-class health facilities by 2030. Deputy Minister Kwidini said the support by the UAE will significantly enable more patients to receive timely and effective medical care.
This generous contribution directly supports our ongoing efforts to achieve universal health coverage and aligns with the government's health sector strategy. It will ease pressure on public hospitals, enhance intensive care services, and ultimately improve health outcomes across.
Zimbabwe and the UAE enjoy cordial relations that have seen cooperation in mutual areas of interest such as trade, investment, education, culture, tourism, and healthcare. Last month, the two countries struck a strategic agreement which is expected to revolutionize healthcare infrastructure in Zimbabwe. Deputy Minister Kwidini further pledged Zimbabwe's commitment to deepening cooperation with the West Asian country.
Further deepening cooperation with the UAE not only in healthcare but in areas such as public health research training, infrastructure development and knowledge exchange. Let us continue to build on this momentum, creating stronger people-to-people ties and institutional partnerships that deliver real change on the ground.
The growing relationship between Zimbabwe and the United Arab Emirates builds on the backdrop of President Mnangagwa's official visit to the Dubai Multi-Commodity Center in 2024, where he met senior executives to discuss avenues for deepening trade and investment. The United Arab Emirates ambassador to Zimbabwe, Jassim Mohammad Al-Qasim, pledged his country's commitment to continue supporting Zimbabwe in various sectors of the economy.
As UAE government has been assisting Zimbabwe in the field of health, education, food, and environment. We would like to thank the government of Zimbabwe for giving us this opportunity to hand over these donations.
This collaboration is expected to not only enhance healthcare, but also foster economic growth through mutual investment opportunities. Now, as Zimbabwe strives to enhance its healthcare system, partnerships like this one with the UAE are crucial in ensuring that all citizens have access to medical services they need, ultimately leading to a healthier population and a more robust economy. Reporting for ZTN Prime in Harare, I am Selina Nyamangara.
Now, authorities have taken a significant step towards strengthening the country's health regulatory framework. During today's cabinet meeting, ministers considered and approved the principles for the amendment of the Medicines and Allied Substances Control Act, a piece of legislation originally enacted in 1969. The new amendments seek to protect citizens from substandard and counterfeit medical products. We get more from Mirai Nsingo.
The latest proposed amendment seeks to address modern challenges in the medical sector, focusing on the control of quality, safety and efficacy.
Cabinet considered and approved the principles for the amendment of the Medicines and Allied Substances Control Act. The Act was promulgated in 1969 and has undergone several amendments over the years. The main intention of the amendment is to control the quality, safety and efficacy of all medical products and allied substances.
Driven by the rising concerns over substandard and falsified medical products on the continent, Zimbabwe's decision to amend this piece of legislation is largely inspired by the African model law. This non-prescriptive guideline developed by the African Union encourages member states to establish robust legal and regulatory structures to protect public health.
We are quite grateful to the Cabinet for the approval of the amendment of the Act, because this is in line with our strategic goal as the Medicines Control Authority of Zimbabwe. When we look at our vision, where we want to be an effective and efficient regulatory authority in Zimbabwe and across the globe, where we also want to be strategically positioned in the region, we are looking forward to achieving maturity level 4 of the WHO Global Benchmarking Tool, which promotes transparency, efficiency and accountability.
By aligning with this model, Zimbabwe aims to modernize its oversight mechanisms while promoting regional harmonization in pharmaceutical regulation. The amendments will also give more regulatory powers to the Medicine Control Authority of Zimbabwe at a time there's an influx of below-the-par medicines on the market.
There's been digital transformation, moving from analog to digital equipment. So we need to align our laws to make sure they take care of that new function of Medicines Control Authority. So we want to empower the authority to be able to do the full range of inspections. They have got inspectors as well. These inspectors, we realized that there were gaps in terms of how they can approach a defaulter. We need to give them powers to be able to inspect facilities. Our Medicines Control Authority have got the function of inspecting manufacturing facilities, but there were gaps of saying, how do you go there if somebody says, don't enter our premises? Our inspectors under Medicines Control Authority did not have the powers really to say they've come to a place, they can close it, and also to impose fines.
While the nation waits for the implementation of the amendments, experts have described the move as a bold step in the right direction in strengthening the country's health systems and protecting the citizenry. For ZN Prime, I am Mirai Nsingo.
Government expedites mobile civil registration. That story is still to come.
Win big in the EcoCash Chakachaya Ziawaku EcoCash promotion with over 200,000 winners. Earn at least 20 points when you cash in, send money, buy airtime or data, make payments, receive money from the diaspora, or receive your salary via EcoCash. And you could be in the running to win an all-expenses-paid trip to watch an AFCON match in Morocco, a holiday for 2 in Dubai, solar kits, cows, fridges, gas stoves, motorbikes, cash, airtime, and so much more. It's simple. Simply transact, earn points, and win in the Chakachaya Ziawaku EcoCash promotion. Dial *151# or use the EcoCash app now. EcoCash. Live life the EcoCash way.
Asilwela ukunqoba kuphela. Kepha silwela ukwakha isizwe esinohlonze. Sekunjalo.
This is Newsplus, and we're coming to you live from Harare. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, still on our top stories, Africa should come up with a sustainable funding model where it mobilizes its own resources rather than rely on outside development partners for its programs in order to safeguard its sovereignty. This came out this Thursday during the 47th ordinary session of the Executive Council of the African Union member states being held in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea. Now, Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Aman Murida is part of the delegation attending the session as chairperson of SADC Council of Ministers. The meeting is being held under the theme Justice for Africans and People of African Descent through Reparations. Pan-African Parliament President Chief Fortune Charumbira is also attending the event.
One of the issues was to review the document, the report from the Permanent Representative Council of the ambassadors at the African Union. That report was touching from finances to multilateral cooperation, also to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. When it comes to finances, we've been looking at the budget of the African Union. And the key highlight basically is that our budget, about 80% of our budget, 77% to be exact, is coming from partners. And the African Union has made it a point that we want to move away from over-dependence of partners because it basically interferes with our programs. Because you can't program boldly using borrowed resources or using given resources. You program boldly and sustainably using your own resources.
Now, the Harare Master Plan is nearing completion, with city officials expressing optimism about its potential to address uncoordinated growth. That growth has been marked by chaotic expansion in recent years that has seen the mushrooming of illegal settlements and uncoordinated private and cooperative developments and service delivery failures. Now, according to Harare Mayor Councillor Jacob Mafume, the initial draft of the plan has been completed and is currently under review by councillors, senior management and consultants. Once the internal review is done, the document will be submitted to the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works for final consideration. Now, to discuss this further, we are joined by the Combined Harare Residents Association's Director, Ruben Akili. Thank you very much, Ruben, for joining us here on Newsplus. How do you think the master plan should address the issue of uncoordinated growth and development in Harare, which has been a major challenge for the city?
But again, a master plan is a legal document that will then guide the planning in the local authority area, and in particular the city of Harare. So coming in of the master plan, we envisage a situation where the master plan will then guide planning or spatial planning within the local authority area. As you are aware that the issue around illegal developments and even change of use of land across the city has become a greatest challenge, and haphazard planning had become an order of the day. So to us, this master plan will then address some of the things that we were facing, especially the uncoordinated and planning and chaotic planning that we have been witnessing within the local authority. So in our view, it's a welcome development, but again, as I said before, the master plan was overdue because also on the other end, we realize that some of the places which probably the master plan is eyeing for some of the developments to happen, probably some of the land would have been eyed.
Now, Ruben, there have been many questions around missed deadlines for the city to deliver the final draft of this master plan. What do you think are some of the reasons, and what is the impact of this delay?
The impact of the delay of the delivery of the master plan, like what happened. Remember, I said we have more than 20 years with an expired master plan. So the impact itself of the delay, and even the absence of master plan, we saw chaotic planning, and even at this moment the delay also some of the land which have been earmarked for, for other purposes which are probably provided in the master plan. Probably right now it has been also occupied by land barons. Land barons are not stopping. These are the people who have planned the city in the absence of the master plan. And we have seen in areas across the city where it's more of like a competition on land invasions. So again, the chaotic planning has become also order of the day. The delay of the coming of the master plan also provided an opportunity, for corrupt officials and even corrupt elements to be able to then manipulate the what we would say the local area plans, which were manipulated and changed from the primary purpose of the land, and probably then change of land use, it becoming order of the day. So the delay of that, some of the lands would have been probably pieces of land in the local authority would have been changed use, hence it would then impact on the proper planning of the city.
Thank you very much and have a good evening. That was Ruben Akili sharing his insights on the city's master plan. Now, moving on, the government of Zimbabwe, with support from UNICEF, has initiated a mobile birth registration drive to increase the country's registration coverage up from the current 57%. This program is bringing services to schools and communities, bridging the gap between rural and urban areas and enabling citizens to access essential services. Our Bulawayo correspondent Andile Chuma was part of the Civil Registry's Matebelelen tour and gives us more in the following report.
Birth registration is more than just a bureaucratic process. It's a gateway to accessing essential services, realizing fundamental rights, and unlocking opportunities for a brighter future. Without legal documentation, children are left vulnerable, excluded from vital services, and denied their rightful place in society. The government of Zimbabwe's mobile registration drive aims to increase birth registration coverage, currently at 57%, and to ensure every citizen has a legal identity.
By targeting hard-to-reach areas, we are ensuring that we leave no one and no place behind. So far, the department has already been to 4 provinces, that is Masvingo, we were in Chikombedzi, we have also been to Mash West, where we were in Mangura. Right now there's a team that is in Matebelelen South in Mangwe, also rolling out the same program. So what we do when we come at a mobile outreach,
implementing partners, UNICEF, supported by Swedish and Swiss governments, committed to supporting the government, highlighting that the registry system was a core foundation in protecting the rights of children in the country.
Securing a birth certificate or the birth registration process is not merely an administrative process or a bureaucratic process, but it is a gateway to accessing essential services, to protecting the children, and to ensuring their right to identity and nationality is fulfilled. That's very fundamental.
By deploying mobile registration units to schools and communities, the government is bringing its services closer to the people, bridging the gap between rural and urban areas. Beneficiaries welcomed the program, with some giving testimony of how it has enabled them to obtain identity documentation for the first time.
chirongwa chanhasi chandifadza chaizvo. Ndawana vanhu vekunharaunda yangu kuno ende vakawandisa, vatora mabirth certificate, vatora zvitupa, vatora madeath certificate. Aiwa, ndafara chaizvo.
Vanhu vaitambura zvokuti zvese zvisasa ipapa pane nzvimbo kuti kana auya ipapo ndogona kumusanangudza kuti chitupa chakanakira kuti pakati because aenda vanhu kunotora chitupa anenge ane ruzivo rokuti chitupa chinoshandei kana birth inoshandei, death certificate inoshandei.
In pursuance of inclusive development, this collaborative effort has shown the government's commitment to ensure that every child has a name and a legal identity. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Sinamsanga, Binga.
Now, Zimbabwe's capital markets has entered a new era with the historic self-listing of ZSC Holdings Limited, the parent company of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. The move, the first of its kind in the country, reflects growing momentum to transform Zimbabwe's financial sector, strengthen investor confidence, and align with global best practices seen in other leading African exchanges. Our business reporter Cecilia Kamputa gives us more.
In a historic move, ZSC Holdings Limited, the parent company of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, has officially listed on the bourse, marking Zimbabwe's first ever stock exchange self-listing. Trading in ZSC Holdings shares will begin on 11 July 2025 under the ticker ZSCEH.ZW, a milestone expected to boost investor confidence and deepen Zimbabwe's capital markets. Speaking at the listing ceremony in Harare this Thursday, Caroline Sandura, the group chairperson of ZSC Holdings, hailed the move as a significant first, noting that ZSC Holdings is the first issuer of 2025 on the bourse.
We gather here today to welcome ZSC Holdings Limited as the first issuer in 2025 on the ZSC platform, as well as one of the few exchanges to be self-listed. Today's listing is special to us. We are taking a bold step today, showing that the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange Holdings is ready to stand among peers in the capital markets, be accountable to the investing public, and open to the scrutiny and opportunities that come with being a listed entity.
ZSC CEO Justin Boni highlighted that the self-listing is not a new phenomenon, with African peers such as the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, Nairobi Securities Exchange, Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, and Nigerian Exchange having already done this.
As one of the oldest exchanges in Africa, we are excited to have finally achieved this milestone, which enables us to remain competitive in the region. The process of self-listing is not a new phenomenon. Our peers who have also undergone self-listing include the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, which was listed in 2006, the Nairobi Securities Exchange, NSC, which was listed on their main board in the exchange in 2014, the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, self-listed on the DESI in 2017. The Nigerian Exchange Group has been listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange since 2021. Today, we've also made history by achieving self-listing on our own exchange.
Arnold Shibongodze, Secretary General of the Stockbrokers Association of Zimbabwe, sees the listing as a catalyst for visibility and foreign investor interest.
We fully support the self-listing of the Zimbabwe stock of the ZSC Holdings. This marks a significant milestone not only for our capital markets, but also for our nation at large, as it promotes visibility of our exchange and puts Zimbabwe on the map.
Representing Finance Minister Professor Mthuli Ncube, guest of honor Judith Rusike, who is the Director of Financial Sector Policy in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, described the development as a transformative step towards mobilizing domestic savings for productive investment.
The self-listing of ZSC Holdings opens up new opportunities for growth and investment in the market, unlocks shareholder value, and enables businesses to raise capital for investing in new technologies and regional expansion. These developments will ultimately benefit all market participants and support economic diversification. Moreover, this self-listing brings visibility, attracts capital, fosters innovation, and enhances corporate governance. Most importantly, it provides ordinary Zimbabweans with an opportunity to participate in wealth creation and national development.
As ZSC Holdings prepares to open trading, all eyes are now on how this bold step will shape investor confidence and unlock new opportunities in the country's financial landscape. For ZTN Prime, I'm Cecilia Kamputa in Harare.
And still to come on Newsplus, police impound 65 illegal pirate taxis in Marondera.
goes absolutely emphatic. He has done it.
Get ready for more on Supersport, the only place to watch all the FIFA Club World Cup.
Welcome back. You are still watching Thursday's edition of Newsplus. Now, the Zimbabwe African National Congress, an opposition party in Zimbabwe, says government should do more to honor the legacy of the late Vice President and founding father, Dr. Joshua Nkomo. The former VP, who was known as Father Zimbabwe, died on the 1st of July in 1999. Now, president of the party, Timothy Mncube, believes the day should be declared a public holiday in honor of one of the country's founding fathers. His sentiments come at a time when the ruling party, ZANU-PF, is also pushing for the same honor for the late former vice president.
To honor the late president, Dr. Joshua Nkomo, a national hero and founding father of the nation. I am pleased to announce that the Zimbabwe African National Congress has proposed declaring July 1 a public holiday. Dr. Nkomo's tireless efforts towards our country's independence, unity and progress are a lasting legacy that continues to inspire us today. Declaring July 1st a public holiday will be a befitting tribute to his memory and celebration of his invaluable contributions to Zimbabwe's history and development. We urge the government to consider the proposal and work with us to make this a reality.
Now, here's a law enforcement update for you. The Zimbabwe Republic Police has impounded about 65 illegal pirate taxis in Marondera during a 2-day blitz under an operation codenamed No to Mshikashika and Plateless Vehicles. Superintendent Jasper Manyanaire, who is responsible for administration in Marondera district, urged those who want to venture into the transport business to fulfill all the requirements before actually operating. He said of late, the police have been receiving cases of robbery and kidnapping involving pirate taxis, adding that efforts will continue to maintain presence on the ground to ensure peace and order.
As Marondera district, we embarked on a 2-day operation No to Mshikashika and Plateless Vehicles. During this operation of Mshikashika, we managed to arrest 65 vehicles for various offenses, which ranges from plateless vehicle and roadworthy and again in other. We are just appealing to members of the public to desist from using Mshikashika and use the proper transport service vehicles. Of late, we have received so many cases of robbery, kidnapping involving Mshikashikas. That's why we were targeting them.
And still in Marondera, a major development project is set to transform the town, with 9,000 stands being offered on a 50-hectare piece of land at Elmer Park. The stands will cater to various land uses, including residential, commercial, and industrial, giving the farming town a significant boost as it eyes city status. Speaking at the launch, Mike Tashaya, CIF's head of development, said the project will empower residents through infrastructural development and drive growth in the area.
We really are excited to be part of the story in Marondera. Our vision as a company is to help with the housing crisis that we have in Zimbabwe, and we're hoping that Elmer Park will be part of the solution to housing in Marondera. There's also investment opportunities due to the improvement we see in the structural development within Marondera itself. We've got universities, hospitals,
And we're hoping that the diaspora markets, who have shown great appetite in Marondera, really get to appreciate what Elmer Park offers. We're also working very closely with local authorities and government offices to ensure that we are aligned into the delivery of products and affordable housing that Elmer Park provides.
Now, in other news, the government has called on local authorities across Zimbabwe to prioritize disaster preparedness by setting aside specific budgets for emergency response. The call was made during a disaster risk management peer review workshop for the first phase of the Epworth Urban Preparedness System program held recently in Kadoma. Now, the government urged councils to adopt proactive measures in dealing with natural and man-made disasters.
So all local authorities are encouraged in Zimbabwe to have budgets for disaster response so that the communities are safe, and when disasters do occur, we use resources efficiently, and we also mitigate some challenges to do with deaths. Our deaths since Cyclone Idai hit the country, we have realized as a government that there is need to plan instead of being reactory when it comes to disaster response.
Now, with disasters becoming more frequent and severe, councils are now expected to channel resources where they matter most, saving lives and livelihoods.
Us as Epworth and our background coming from informal settlements, we had a lot of hazards which were being experienced mainly in those informal areas. So in the preparation of those plans, assisted us a lot in coming up with mitigatory measures in addressing some of those hazards. I think during the first phase we did implement some of the activities which were highlighted in those plans, which saw the reduction of hazards which were being experienced.
Now, up next is today's courts update with Yokai Karingizeka.
The Harare High Court, businessmen Moses Mpofu and Machimombe have filed their applications for discharge at the close of the state case before Justice Pisirai Kwenda in the matter in which they are accused of orchestrating a $7.7 million United States dollars fraud linked to the presidential God's Person scam. At the heart of the matter is a tender awarded to Blackdeck Livestock and Poultry Farming tied to the supply of goats under the national scheme. Their main argument is that the state has failed to establish a prima facie case against them, thereby entitling them an acquittal, adding that there is no legal basis whatsoever to put the accused on their defense in the circumstances. The state is expected to file its submissions on the 15th of July. Meanwhile, at the Harare Magistrate Court, the state has concluded its case against two Britons arrested in May for allegedly attempting to smuggle 66.9 kgs of dagga through the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport. Thais Darlene Elisha, aged 18, and Taylor Tamara Simon, aged 20, both from Birmingham, United Kingdom, denied charges of unlawful possession of dangerous drugs, claiming they were unwitting couriers and were misled into believing the luggage contained electrical gadgets which they were tasked to deliver to a recipient in Zimbabwe. State-led three witnesses who all confirmed that the GO was found in possession of the drugs. Magistrate Marijuana Zogofa will deliver her judgment on the 18th of July. For ZTN Prime, I'm Yokai Karingezeka in Harare.
Now, up next is business.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Captain Wally J's about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
We've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
A local land developer, Warwickshire Property and Development Group Company, has embarked on an innovative mixed-use commercial urban development project at its Lakeview Park housing and hotel scheme near Lake Chivero. The project, which is expected to break ground in 2026, is complementing government efforts to reduce the country's housing backlog.
The Lake City project is engineered around an innovative model, HOPSCA, short for hotel, office, park, shopping mall, connectivity, and apartments. The model represents a new kind of urban complex, integrating various types of developments. The aim is to establish a self-contained complete community, a residential environment offering a comprehensive array of functions. Developments in the area will prioritize green spaces, energy efficiency, and seamless integration with the surrounding environment.
We have stands from 300 all the way up to 2,000 square meters. We also have recreational spaces, we have commercial spaces that are all included within this development.
With an investment of over $40 million, this massive project is expected to create employment opportunities. Developers say they are undertaking the project fully guided by the government policies and prescribed asset status. Part of their development plans include setting up a water treatment plant that will service the entire area.
We also have been tasked by the Ministry of Local Government to put together a water treatment solution, not only for our project, but for the projects that would be surrounding us as well.
The new project is not being undertaken in isolation. The developers are conscious of already existing communities. They have implemented the Legacy Beneficiary Project, aimed at incorporating current settlers into the new development.
That had found themselves there and put up a few structures. What we've chosen to do is we've chosen to incorporate them in our program, and we've developed what we call the Legacy Beneficiary Program, where these home seekers can actively take part in this new development, enjoy all the necessary amenities.
Zimbabwe's housing backlog now stands at 1.25 million units, with urban centers like Harare and Bulawayo accounting for 70% of the shortfall. The private sector is seen as a critical player in reducing this deficit by providing affordable housing. For ZTN Prime, I am Sitachisiwe Gwaza in Harare.
Now, from that update on national housing, we now give you a story on cement importation. The government is optimistic that by next year, the country will be producing enough cement to meet local demand and eradicate the need to import the commodity. The optimism has been ignited by Industry and Commerce Minister Mangaliso Ndlovu's tour of the Chegutu cement plant under construction, where he was upbeat about cement manufacturing in this country. The project is set to address the critical cement shortages in the country, which have led to imports. And speaking during the tour, the Minister of Industry and Commerce, Mangaliso Ndlovu, said that the plant will start producing cement at the beginning of 2026.
What we witness here, Shuntai Investment putting in about $70 million to this cement manufacturing plant, which is also addressing a critical shortage that we are experiencing, leading to imports from neighboring countries.
The plant is owned by a Chinese investor with mining and cement interests in the country. The Chegutu plant, whose construction work must be completed before the onset of the 2025 to 2026 rainy season, is expected to produce 800,000 tons of cement annually.
We are happy that by the beginning of next year, they have promised us that they will start producing, meaning that more than likely there will be no need to be importing. We can preserve our hard-earned foreign currency.
Shuntai Investments Private Limited Administration Manager Jan Bo confirmed the production timelines and targets set to Minister Ndlovu and said $70 million has been invested in the Chekutu plant. The plant is set to employ about 4,000 people from the different parts of the country, and about 300 youths are currently employed at the Chekutu plant.
In total, we are targeting including the locals and also the foreigners. Now it's coming to be 4,000. We are coming to this target because the locals are more than 3,000 and the Chinese around another 500.
This comes after another Chinese investor, Wisdom International, is setting up a $1 billion cement plant in Magunje, with construction works also at an advanced stage, and where over 2,000 will be employed. The government is optimistic that by 2026, Zimbabwe will start producing enough cement to cut the import bill. Now, Africa's startup scene is showing strong signs of revival in 2025 with new data from Africa, the big deal revealing that startups raised over $1.4 billion in the first half of the year, up 78% from the first half of 2024. Large deals are back in force with 39 funding rounds of $10 million or more, the highest since 2022. And appearing on ZTN's business program, The Mint, startup developer Stephen Muraga spoke on what these figures mean.
I would think it's a combination of issues here. We are seeing, of course, Africa's ecosystem is maturing. The ecosystem itself is maturing, meaning it's always bound to give confidence to the investors. Also, we can't run away from global events, things that will be happening globally that affect, especially the movement of capital. After the COVID-19 pandemic, I think during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was this euphoria about, everyone wants to fight the virus, and they've been throwing around a lot of money. But after we had also this the restlessness that has been taking place. You could look at the war between Ukraine and Russia. It affected the capital markets somehow. So I would think that there's that combination of the ecosystem itself being appealing and also things changing at the global stage.
Now, still to come in sport, Chaminuka dismisses Dynamo's relegation talk.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J.
Put your seatbelt on.
Zimbabwe Cricket has announced a 16-man squad for the upcoming T20I Triangular Series involving South Africa and New Zealand, with all-rounder Sikandar Raza set to captain the side. The Tri-Series starts from 14 to 26 July 2025 at Harare Sports Club, with each team facing the others twice at the round-robin stage before the top two sides meet in the final. The Chevron squad features a blend of experience and promising talent, including the return of key players from injury. Now, left-arm pacer Richard Ngarava, who had been sidelined with a lower back injury, is back, as is exciting all-rounder Brian Bennett, who missed part of the recent Test series against South Africa in Bulawayo due to a concusion. Adding depth to the group are three uncapped players: wicket-keeper batter Tafadzwa Tsiga, left-arm paceman Newman Nyamuri, and leg spinner Vincent Masekesa. We spoke to Zimpaper's Sports Hub analyst Ruvimbo Chakoreka, who gave his reaction to the squad, starting by highlighting the return of Bennett and Ngarava.
All right, so a very interesting selection now for the short format over the T20 series, which will face between New Zealand, South Africa, and ourselves, and some good inclusions that are coming in. Brian Bennett, who had of course suffered a mild concussion, comes back into the side after unfortunately not being able to finish off the test series against South Africa. Also, the return of Richard Ngarava into the setup, I think, is very essential, especially for this short format, because we seemed to be slightly thin in terms of our bowling options, albeit we had the likes of Kundai Matikimu getting a little bit of a run in there, but the coming back of Richard Ngarava is essential. Also good to see the likes of Tashinga Msekiwa as well as Tinotenda Maposa also being included within that side. That is the future, of course, of Zimbabwean cricket, and the more game time they get under their belt, it will definitely help.
Now, moving on to football, Dynamo's head coach Saul Chaminuka says he will continue working his magic to turn fortunes around and steer his side to safety, despite having spent the greater part of the season in the relegation zone. We get more in the following report.
Dynamo's head coach Saul Chaminuka is confident that the side will avoid the drop as he has plans to turn around fortunes at the club. With the side having spent the greater part of the season in the relegation zone, Chaminuka studios hope that Dynamos will be plying their trade in the top flight next season.
I'm very confident that Dynamos will survive, and yes, it was true, and something that is difficult for people to think that the team can survive. Looking at where the team is, we are rooted at the bottom, yes, but I am confident. I look at the work that we are doing, and I look also at the response from players, and I have no doubt that very soon we will start picking up points in every game that we play, and very soon again we will be up the ladder.
Chaminuka says he has noticed positive changes from the side since he took over in mid-May and believes that he will turn things around.
I see a lot of positives, which is why I am saying their response to training and even their response to game plans. Yes, you play and sometimes you lose a game of football, but sometimes what is key is, are they following what you are giving them? Are they giving you good feedback? I think I've been seeing a lot of positivity, coming from the boys, and we are taking a team that is full of morale this weekend, and I have no doubt that they will give us what we are all yearning for.
With the side having spent the greater part of the season in unfamiliar territory, Chaminuka promises to continue working hard so as to bring smiles back to the faces of the Dimbare faithful.
We will continue and work even harder to try and give them, the much needed points. I think they may be disgruntled over whatever there is that they are disgruntled about, and we know that, and we want for them to smiling very soon.
Dynamos are enjoying their West run in the top flight and find themselves with a huge mountain to climb in their fight for survival.
FC Platinum coach Norman Mapeza has thanked the team's supporters for their unwavering support as the club returns to action this weekend against Chicken Inn. The two sides have been experiencing mixed fortunes in the season, with Mapeza praising the exceptional support from their fans.
Yeah, look, to our fans, I think I just have to repeat what I was talking about. And I've been talking about it ever since. They know the bond we've created between themselves and us as a team. Let's keep that bond going. Let's have belief in each other. Let's keep supporting each other. That's my message to them.
Now, the Zimbabwean tennis duo of Sasha Chimedza and Tadiwanashe Mauchi scooped gold in the double finals, hours after facing off in the singles semi-finals at the African Union Sports Council Region 5 Games in Namibia. The duo believe their childhood chemistry played a huge role in their 6-2, 6-3 win over Botswana's Chelsea Chakanyuka and Naledi Ragwin.
The match was good. Very positive things to take from it, and we really fought, and it was really good. The connection between us, we really played good doubles together. So I really enjoyed. Yeah,
for sure. It was a great match. I feel like they are very tough to play in doubles, so we just had to be on top of everything, on top of serves, returns, and volleys. So I feel like even though the past week has been long, we just had to really lock in and give everything we had for for our doubles match. So I think we played really good, and so did they too.
Meanwhile, Sasha Chimedza won the girls' singles tennis title after a hard-fought 6-4, 6-3 victory over South Africa's Jess Shills.
We're so happy to win against South Africa. As you know, South Africa, they give us stiff competition all the time. So we are happy that we came here equipped, and Sasha proved that we can win against South Africa.
My hard work came to show, so I'm happy about that. And it was a tough match. It was really intense. We both wanted to get off the court with the win. So I'm just happy I managed to get the title this time.
Now, the Grand Chamber of the European Court has upheld a 2023 ruling that double 800-meter Olympic champion Caster Semenya's appeal to a Swiss federal tribunal against regulations that barred her from competing had not been properly heard. Semenya is appealing against World Athletics regulations that female athletes with differences in sexual development, DSDS, must medically reduce their testosterone levels. Semenya, 34 years old, is not seeking a return to the track and has turned to coaching, but says she is carrying on the fight for other DSD athletes who she says are discriminated against. And that's a wrap on Newsplus this Thursday evening. Thank you very much. I'm Wanzanai Sansole. Have a good night.
Didn't graduate. I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt